Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Immortal Hulk, issue number 47. This is probably my least favorite of all these issues. It's not saying too much. I love all these issues, including this one for the most part. But still, there's something missing out of this. It's funny, we go so long without any real action, and then an issue where we get nothing but action, you start to see a little bit of a weakness there. Am I wrong? Puny. Puny action. Let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll go on from there. This issue is called Chaotic Terrain. Really strange name that they used a lot that I still didn't quite fully understand, but whatever. I guess it's chaos. You're not supposed to. Al Ewing is the writer, Joe Bennett on pencils, Roy Jose and Bellardino Bravo on inks, Paul Mounts doing the colors, VC's Corey Bettina on letters, and Alex Ross doing the cover. The same guys do the variant cover for the most part, and boom, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created the Hulk. So we start off with a recap page. In fact, was it one page or two? Yeah, it was really just one page of recap. And I like that. I really dig that because the way it's done, us longtime readers, I imagine most of us have been reading this since issue number 1. Us longtime readers can look at this and just be like, yeah, I don't have a problem with this being the recap page. I bet you a lot of us didn't even realize it actually was the recap page when we saw it. It's just, this is what happened recently. But it was done in a really cool way. I love it. I love it. So they can skip right to the action. I feel that when you've got a book, and not an issue, I'm saying a book, like a title, like The Immortal Hulk, where there's so much story, sometimes so much story crammed into an issue, it's like almost overwhelming, right? That you're flabbergasted by it. And when they drop, and there's still some story in here, not a lot, but there's some story. But when you reduce the story just to do a serious action-packed issue like this issue, number 47, it's one of those situations where it's like, should it maybe be double-sized then? I think this issue really should have been double-sized in order to actually give this enough space to breathe. This action lasted a short time relatively, but like it was long enough that Iron Man being taken off the battlefield just to go and catch a guy who was thrown. I mean, I feel like it was a bit much. The thing with Blade, to get right into that, I think was hysterical. I get the feeling Ewing doesn't like Blade very much, that this absolute moronic statement, let's face it, I've seen this stuff before, you get stronger at night and stuff like that. Yeah, face it, you're a vamp, aren't you, Hulk? Come on, man. When the world's leading vampire hunter can't tell if somebody's a vampire or not, you might be getting too old for the job, bruv. Captain America was extremely ineffectual on here. You can't have a simple, totally awesome shield throw that turns out to be not as awesome as you thought it was going to be. It ends up with somebody nibbling on your shield. I mean, there's a problem there. It's a problem when that's the only cool thing that Cap does, and it's not even that damn cool. But like when he turns around and like this is the only leadership thing he did in this entire issue was to take Iron Man, one of their most powerful heavy hitters, and easily the most mobile heavy hitter, off the field, to rescue a guy who simply did not need rescuing. And everybody in this group said, Blade doesn't need to be rescued. He'll be fine. You know, like that's a really weak move on Cap's part. Sometimes somebody makes a character or, does a character decision or whatever where it makes you say, yeah, I don't think that you should write this character. I don't think Ewing should write Captain America. As far as the She-Hulk, the stuff that happened in here, that was an interesting twist. It's an interesting twist. Bit of a turn. I liked that. It was clever. I don't want to get into that because it's kind of important to the story, and I don't know where this is going to go from there, so I don't want to speculate in this review. In the next issue, maybe I will. And there's going to be a Gamma Flight, issue number 1. I hate when I don't know if it's going to be an ongoing or not based on the advertisement. I don't want to have to look something up to realize that it's just a one-shot, but unfortunately that's what I had to do. Anyway, I'm glad that they mentioned in here really quick that there's going to be something cool for us longtime Hulk readers in there. All right, awesome. I'm going to see it anyway. I'm going to read it anyway because whatever. But I don't know. Gamma Flight has been the least effective team I've ever read in a comic book before. Literally, they just stand around talking all the time, and then they show up, and it's like, And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but maybe it's just me with my Alpha Flight stuff up here waiting for the 2 boxes to show up. But I mean, at the end of the day, is it just a strange, weird sort of thing that it's like, hey, man, Puck never actually seems to get into the mix of things. I haven't seen a cartwheel attack in decades. In at least a decade, I should say. Why is that? Why is it that Puck's always like, if you're ready to go, let's go. Hey, if you need my help, yeah, I'm here to help. However the hell that freaking Albertan Edmonton accent is supposed to go. It's a weird thing, man, when it's like, he says in this issue also, all right, let's mix it up, and he goes to get into it, and then we just cut the scene. If this were a movie, and I know, those of us who love what Al Ewing does, there are going to be some people who are purists, and they're just like, no, you can't say anything bad about Ewing. I'm going to say something bad about Ewing right now. If this were a movie, if we were watching a movie, and somebody said, all right, let's get into it, and you want to see what this guy can do, and then you just cut to somebody else fighting, would that work? Would that scene work in a movie? There's going to be some people who want to initially say, this isn't a movie, it's a comic book. I could go into a half-hour discussion as to why that is a very odd statement for anybody who's ever watched entertainment before, because the formats are the exact same. The only thing is that you have more options as far as, more range of movement in a movie than you do with a comic book. In a comic book, you have to find the best scenes to use. And in a comic book, when you have somebody saying, let's start some action, and then you cut someplace else, I don't care if it's a movie, I don't care if it's a comic book, I don't care what form of entertainment it is, what medium they're trying to transfer that information and communicate this message to us, that's the wrong thing to do. That was a huge, glaring, terrible mistake in this comic book. And if you're a Puck fan, you're probably really pissed off because you're like, I want to see Puck get into it. And they gave me an absolute tease and then just no finish. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Hookers don't get paid that way. I don't care if that's an odd statement. That's just the way I thought of when I was saying it that way. There was a very graphic scene sexually in this towards the end of the book. Kudos. Kudos. Because it turned me the hell off. I'm like, oh, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. This is not the kind of porn I like to watch. I think the thing that was a little bit most annoying to me, though, was Black Panther's portrayal in here. Black Panther, to me, is a very special, very important character. I love the Black Panther. Been reading this guy since I could read. You know, as soon as I found out about the Black Panther, I'm just like, this guy's freaking awesome. Learning more and more and more about this guy's history when I was a kid is like, oh my God, this guy's amazing, you know? Forget about it. So I get a little over-judgmental when it comes to the Black Panther. Let's face it, Al Ewing does a really good Black Panther. His Ultimates and Ultimates 2 comic books in the Earth 616 were, forget about it. This might as well have been a Black Panther series, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to a team series. Because, wow. But for this guy to just, like, I think that he was portrayed a little bit too powerfully in here and without explanation. Black Panther is one of those guys who should be able to overcome pretty much anything because he's ridiculously smart and because he's got a great team behind him. That second part is mostly from Christopher Priest, but I stand by it. You know, there's some things that are just so good that they shouldn't be changed. When I look at comics and I see in continuity, Black Panther had a hard time taking down Namor, but he's easily able to take down Hulk. I know that we're talking about two different writers, Hickman versus Ewing. I understand that. But yeah, it's a weird thing. And if you want to talk about like, oh, it's easy to eviscerate Hulk's skin, he just heals faster. Yeah, explain that to Kirby and Lee, who created the character, right? I understand that Peter David changed that up a little bit, whatever. And I really dug what Hulk did, like when Thor smashes his hand, and then Hulk like takes that smashed hand, and then he's timed his healing factor just perfectly to engulf Thor's head. I thought that was genius. That was Cthulian. It was I thought that the freaking for a moment there, I thought that the abomination returned. I'm like, oh my god, this is didn't expect this, didn't expect that. Oh, it's just Hulk. Okay, didn't expect that either. Like that was good. That was a really good use there. But Black Panther just being able to amputate the hand, make no mistake, that line was freaking perfect. Really nice trick, Hulk. Great trick, Hulk. Let's see it again. Can you show it to me again? My Black Panther accent sucks, but then again, how do you know what the Black Panther sounds like? Really? What, Chadwick Boseman? You know how he sounds when he does the Black Panther. Anyway, rest in peace, my friend. But yeah, I don't think that Black Panther just without, Komoyo beads, translation, Batman utility pack, plot armor. Do this thing that I need you to do because I need you to do it. Let's not. Let's not. With Black Panther, I want to see an explanation as to why he does what he does. I want to see, even if it's some bullshit freaking, science-y type explanation, I don't need to see him just, I can do this thing because I need to do this thing for the sake of the armor or the sake of the story. Yeah, not interested. I want an actual reason for it. That's why I say this should have been a double-sized issue. This was just, it was rushed too much. And this was issue number 47, where there's still a lot of resolution that needs to be handled before this book ends. So how are we going to end everything in just 3 issues? 48, 49, 50? What? I don't know how many side books they're going to do. I'm at this point where I'm thinking to myself, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either the ending is going to absolutely suck, in which case it would look like this, or maybe Al Ewing is planning on making it so that the Immortal Hulk does end, but then he turns into like the Immortal Hulks or something else. I don't know. The first option would blow. The second option would suck. Either way, as long as I get mine in the end, I guess that's okay. But like, you get what I'm saying, right? That would be really weird. Just have a big old fake out. Big old fake out. It's like, not really into fake outs. We'll see how this works. We'll see how this works because there was so much action in here and there wasn't enough space. Like, I don't know, to me, I feel like Marvel should know. Al Ewing should know. Everybody involved in this book should know. This is like, I think, the most popular Marvel book right now. I think it is. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's definitely up there. And if Amazing Spider-Man can go 2 issues every month, plus a whole bunch of side issues and stuff like that, and double-sized issues for the sake of being double-sized issues and whatnot, I think that a character like Immortal Hulk in this particular book, written and drawn by this particular team, I think they could get away with a single double-sized issue. Just charge an extra $2, $3, charge double price, double size, double price, whatever. I think we'll pay it. I think all of us would happily pay that price. If you're going to have an action book where it's a return of the Avengers versus Hulk, I really want to see that. That line about jars was odd. Where Hulk says, hey, you big on jars and, collecting jars or stuff like that. Was that a reference to when Hulk was put in jars after he was beaten by the Avengers last time? Allowed to be beaten by the Avengers? Is because I don't think that Thor or any of those characters there would have known that he was put in jars. Why would he know? That was General Fordian who did that, right? After he, collected the pieces. I don't know that any of them there would have gotten that reference. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe maybe there's something different. I don't know. Was there a Marine there I didn't know and he's making a Jarhead reference? I don't know. Anyway, it's a fun comic book, but it left me wanting in the end. And they always say leave them wanting more, but not in this case, not in this way, not in this fashion, I think. Fun, but it could have been a lot better. This should have been a double-sized issue, to say the least. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.